summary over there. Number one, people do it for an economic gain, but not always an economic gain, maybe 1/3 economic gain. And it works something like this. They have a known buyer and they're going to take company data and sell it to the known buyer, or they're going to try and sell it afterwards, or they use something like blackmail, extortion, insider trading, or in fact, the use of credit cards. Did I turn it off? Did it turn itself off? So now we'll go again, so we'll have a look at some of the cases of insider gain. If you do have batteries, I'll take it to be batteries included. So this is a case of Apple. An employee was about to leave, was going to go over to a competitor in Asia. And what he did was they found out that he'd been accessing the data. And the point I want to make about the Apple case here is, watch this, new product security, global security investigations, research and development, employee relations. Apple, amazingly, has all these departments. They have them, and they were all terribly interested in the case. And indeed, that was the main point I wanted to bring up over there. This was somebody that left Phillips 66. He was also going to go to Asia, and he wanted to take a whole lot of documents with him. And indeed, this is his confession as to, I downloaded the files, I was not supposed to, and this at least helped them prosecute him because of the confession. Just watch over there, 24 months. And amazingly, I think when people steal trade secrets from an employer, they don't realize that this is a federal felony. It's not just taking something like maybe somebody takes the highlighter pen home from work. This person over here, he walked into an embassy in Manila, the Philippines, and he said, I have a whole lot of things that I can tell you. They don't say which country's embassy. That country's embassy contacted the FBI and they set up a sting operation. So it went over a period of 2 years where he's trying to sell the email addresses and he thinks he's dealing with a real buyer until he got arrested. This one over here was quite good for the SEC. The person worked at the SEC. There was a hedge fund company in New York City. Suddenly, they needed a compliance manager. They call him and say, do you want the job? Do you want to come in for an interview? He says yes, and he steals a whole lot of information related to their insider trading case and takes it with him to his new job. So working for $100,000 at the SEC, a $400,000 job at the hedge fund, and he takes with him all the information. How did the FBI find out about the case? Somebody at the firm was a whistleblower and let the SEC or the FBI know that he's here now and he's divulging all the information to do with the case. I just asked you as a little quiz so I can catch my breath. Who at the firm is likely to report him to the SEC or the FBI? The person who thought that he was entitled to the job and it said, this is good. I'm going to get that money anyway, but I'll get it as a whistleblower award as opposed to having to work for it. This was just a normal case of leaving the company, still having access to the information system and tapping into it for months after leaving, 30 months and restitution. He was quite good. He actually worked as part of the White House staff. He was part of a private school network in New York City. And what he did was after he left his White House job, he went into the escrow accounts, withdrew the money, then deposited it with the bank. He didn't actually steal it, but when he put it with the bank in his name, the bank then gave him a reduction of a few percentage points in his mortgage rate. Rather strange. And he went through a whole lot of trouble to divert the money to his account. I like this one here. He worked for the company, he was allowed to use the credit cards. He left the company and said, you know, why don't I just keep using this credit card? What could possibly go wrong? Well, he got caught in the end, but I thought it was very clever to just continue using the card.